So in the previous episode, I talked about having a tough conversation with your parents when there's something that they do that you are not in agreement with when they take care of your kids. This is part of a multi-episode series on how to deal with Asian parents when they take care of your kids. So another tip that I talk about, that I'm going to talk about, is out of sight, out of mind. Ignorance, and I've mentioned this in the previous episodes about things that sometimes you just don't want to know things, right? Ignorance is bliss. I don't know what I don't know, and sometimes I don't want to know what I don't know, you know? Like, would I put cameras, do I want to put cameras on my parents' house so I could monitor exactly what was going on? Like what my parents were really feeding her, how much screen time they were giving her, and how much English they were actually speaking to her. Hell no. And this is one of the reasons why I prefer, one of the many reasons actually, why I prefer to drop my kids off at my parents than to have them at my house. I mean, yes, there is the convenience when they come over to your house that you don't have to do the commute, right? You don't have to do the drop-offs and the pickups. They just come over and then they leave. So there's definitely the convenience factor, but the thing is, once I drop her off, I know she's in good hands, and that's all that really matters. And when I pick her up, what's done is done, and I'm just grateful I didn't get a call from them in the middle of the day. So that's one of the reasons why I prefer to have her at their house. And in addition, whenever my parents are at my place, I don't know if you feel this way, it just feels really awkward. You know what I mean? They can't just seem to make themselves at home. And because they can't, they'll just sit on my couch like a guest. And then it forces me to feel like a hostess. And it forces me to feel like I need to make them feel comfortable before I leave. And then if they're at my house, I'll need to play tour guide, showing them where everything is, and how to throw things out, what they can or cannot do, where they can or cannot go, etc. And then if they're at my house, they're gonna have to bring their own food. They don't like to eat the foods that I like. And then they have to heat up their meals and use my microwave, my stove, use my plates, and they'll cook in my kitchen, and then my place just becomes a daycare that they work at, right? It becomes like a workplace setting, with coworkers. When you're at work and you have the kitchen, right, the shared common area. And there's always signs don't microwave fish, or please wash your dishes. And we're put the dishes in the dishwasher, little things. And you start to have this in your house with your parents. It's oh my God, right? Additional stress. So when my daughter is at their house, they're they're completely in their comfort zone. It's their home. Their safe haven, and then they have their own processes and procedures and things that they like to do, and they know where everything is, obviously. It just makes it so much easier. And we used to have my in-laws come over to watch her on Fridays because they live further away. We can just drop her off. And at the time, my husband worked from home. He still does, but and he could hear them up. His office is in the basement, and they'd be up here. And, it was just very frustrating and distracting for him to know exactly what was going on. And he'd want to come upstairs and nag them every time they did or said something that he didn't like. And then his own, our brother-in-law gave him some, who went through, who's been through it, gave him some really sage advice, and advice that I'd like to give you when your Asian parents take care of, or just parents who take care of their kids. Put your headphones on, man, out of sight, out of mind. And that's kind of the way I believe, and sometimes you just don't want to know things, and it's better to be kept in the dark about some things. If it's just, sometimes you don't want to know how the sausage gets made, So what do you think? I'd love to know what your thoughts are on, do you have your parents come over to take care of your kids, or do you drop them off, or do you do a bit of both? What's your preference? Just let me know in the comments below.